you're not sure.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
use
Liz
Council
is-
Rankin.
she ain't coming.
She told me that she might be here, but to be late. Yeah.
Okay, we're good to go.
You good to go?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Beach Road Common Council meeting. Today's date is August 3rd, 2026. My name is James Kaufman, Mayor. I'll defer to the clerk treasurer.
And Lil roll call, we'll introduce ourselves starting on my right.
Chris Duffer, Council at Large.
Dan McMillan, Counselor at Large.
Samantha Stratton, clerk treasurer.
Ryan Mackins, Council District 2.
Craig Wiley, City Attorney.
Avis Friesen, Councilwoman District 4.
Mike Ernest, Council District 5.
Thank you. I know Councilor Anthony said she cannot be here tonight. Has anybody spoken with Councilor Himmelgarn?
Yes, I did. He's gonna try to make it, but he said he doubts that he will because he's so busy with school getting ready to open.
Okay. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Up first, we have invocation. Call Pastor Bailey. I'd like to please remember the residents of Diplomat Apartments. Your thoughts and prayers this evening. Special thanks to IFD, Beach Grove EMS, and the BGPD for their efforts over the weekend. And if anybody needs any help, please reach out to the City of Beach Grove. We'll help in any way possible. So please keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Pastor Bailey.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members.
Good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen of the community, if you'd be so kind as to bow your head, please. Lord, our most loving Father in heaven, Lord, we pause in the midst of all that we do, Lord. Lord, we clear our minds and we still our spirit, Lord, that we might hear your wisdom from above. Guide us down here below as we handle this business before us today, Lord. We ask you, Lord, to bless our mayor, bless our city leaders, bless the council members, Lord, bless our community members with a peace and joy that comes from knowing, Lord, we're in your hands, Lord.
Yes.
And we ask you to bless the officers, Lord, each and every day, each and every shift. Bring them home safely, put a hedge of protection around them, and let them feel the love of this community that we appreciate what they do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. We have several special presentations this evening. Up first, I'd like to call up Dr. Lori Hammock, Beach Grove City Schools, for a presentation.
Hi, Dr. Hammock.
Thank you. Our brand new school board member that I just tasked with passing out our handouts just dropped them in front of everyone. Just needed that to say that for the record.
Just fine.
It's wonderful. Thank you, Madison, for doing that.
I don't think the camera shows that area.
Oh, good. Yeah, shoot. I just outed her. That was wonderful. So, council members,
Thank you.
just we wanted to make sure that you had a copy of the presentation that we'll be rolling through here. And thank you, Madison, sweet thing. That was awfully kind of you. So, Mayor and our members of our Common Council, I just want to thank you for giving me this time tonight. I clearly know that your agenda is quite full, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity to speak with you about an issue that will shape not only Beach Grove City Schools, but the future strength of our entire city. I'm joined this evening by several members of our school community who are here to also show their support. Many of our school board members are here. We have our president, Janice King, our vice president, Tara Wolf. You all can stand. Our members, Brian Downard. Oh, they're not. They are my bosses, so they can do whatever they want. Madison West. And we also have two wonderful members of our school community, Kelly Heron, who is one of our parents, and Mr. Bruce By, who is joined our group to ensure that folks understand all about what we're going to talk about this evening, which is our Believe in Our Future campaign. Thank you so much. So I'm here tonight speaking specifically as your superintendent of our schools, but I'm also here as your partner. The city and the schools serve the same families, the same taxpayers, the same neighborhoods, and the same future. There is no version of Beach Grove in which the city thrives while its schools struggle. And there is no version in which the schools reach their full potential without a strong city beside them. In the few minutes that we have together here this evening, I will work to make 5 things unmistakably clear. First, why an operating referendum is needed, why Beech Grove is affected so severely, what the district has already cut, what voters are and are not being asked to approve, and why this decision matters to the whole city, including residents who do not currently have children in our schools. At the conclusion of my presentation, I welcome your questions and I look forward to further discussion. So let me begin with the clearest possible description of the proposal. We are not asking the community to approve an additional operating referendum. On November the 3rd, voters will be asked to replace the most recent operating referendum approved in 2020. The current referendum will expire, and if approved, the proposed referendum would take its place. There will be no overlap. We are not building anything with this referendum. We are not adding a new program. We are simply asking voters to support continued funding of 4 basic existing services. Everything related to transportation, school buses, school bus drivers, monitors, fuel, maintenance, facility maintenance and utilities, custodial and operational services, and student safety, including our 4 school resource officers. As you can see, those are not extras. Those are the operating foundation beneath every classroom in our district. It's easy to talk about the city and the schools as though they are 2 separate institutions, but our residents don't experience us that way. A family deciding whether to buy a home here considers the schools. A business deciding whether to invest here considers the quality and stability of the community. A senior citizen wants property values protected. Our police department provides our school resource officers. Our facilities host community events. Many of our students eventually become the employees, homeowners, parents, and civic leaders of Beech Grove. We do not have empty buildings sitting unused. Every school serves a purpose, and we have consistently repurposed our spaces to meet the evolving needs of our students, our families, and community. Hornet Park, for example, now houses our early childhood center, a facility serving 3, 4, and 5-year-olds with a waiting list that is bursting at the seams. For the 3rd year, we qualify for and provide universal free breakfast, lunch, and dinner opportunities, ensuring that all of our students have access to nutritious meals. Our buildings also serve as gathering places for athletics, the performing arts, public meetings, and community traditions. Events such as our Community Thanksgiving Dinner and Believe in Beech Grove Community Meal serve hundreds of people at no cost, thanks to generous sponsorships. But perhaps most meaningfully, our schools are places where Beech Grove comes together during its most difficult moments. Just last weekend, we hosted 2 memorial services, one for a former student and another for a current student who recently passed away after a brutal cancer battle. Their families chose our schools as the place to celebrate their lives because our buildings are more than facilities. They're part of the heart of this community. Beech Grove City Schools is not only an educational institution, it is also one of our city's most important employers and economic anchors. Our 292 employees earn paychecks, they support local businesses, contribute taxes, and participate in the life of our community. Their economic impact extends well beyond the schoolhouse doors. And we believe that the partnership runs both ways. The city helps make our schools safe, connected, and proud. The schools help make Beech Grove a place where families choose to live, businesses choose to locate, and residents choose to stay. So home values are influenced by many factors, and I would never claim that schools alone determine them, but the evidence and the lived experience of communities across the country are clear. School quality is an important part of residential demand, neighborhood stability, and long-term property value. Since Beech Grove voters first approved an operating referendum way back in 2009, the median home value in our community has risen from approximately $92,300 to today at $185,700. That growth has many causes. But it would be difficult to argue that allowing our schools to become less safe, less reliable, less well-maintained, and less competitive would strengthen the city or protect homeowners. So whether someone has a kindergartner, graduated from Beech Grove 40 years ago, or never had a child in our schools, they have a stake in the strength of the local school system. Strong schools help protect the investment every homeowner has made in this city. So to understand why we need a referendum, it helps to understand one distinction in Indiana school funding. State dollars, which are separate from any funding derived from property taxes, support what happens inside the schoolhouse. So that's everything: teachers, principals, instructional staff, curriculum, any classroom services come from those state resources. Local property taxes support school district operations, buses, utilities, custodial services, maintenance, and safety. Beech Grove City Schools' problem is that our operations fund receives almost no meaningful revenue from the regular property tax levy. We are predominantly residential. Most homesteads are constrained by the 1% constitutional tax cap, and we have the lowest assessed valuation per student in Marion County. When the tax caps prevent collection, that money does not arrive later. It is simply not collected. The comparison is stark. Beech Grove is projected to receive roughly $320 per student in net operations fund levy revenue. The state average is $1,906 per student. IPS is projected at approximately $3,205 per student. That does not mean that those districts are doing something wrong or something right. It shows how unusually disadvantaged Beech Grove is by the structure we operate within. When all school districts are ranked according to impact, Beech Grove City Schools is the most significantly impacted school district in the state of Indiana. No other school district experiences this level of imbalance. I'm sure that we can all agree a Beech Grove child does not require 1/6 of a safe building, 1/10 of a bus, or a fraction of a school resource officer. The responsibilities for serving a school community are the same. The bottom line is that local revenue capacity is not. So before asking voters to consider a continued support, the community has every right to ask what we have done ourselves. And the answer, we believe, is a great deal. So I just started serving my 6th year as superintendent of schools here in Beech Grove. Very quickly, in my first year, I realized that we were in significant financial distress. Together with the board, we committed to doing the work that our community deserved. Just like we would do in our own households. When we realized that our budget was upside down, we had to reduce our expenditures and find ways to increase our revenue through innovative solutions that did not burden taxpayers. During the last 5 years, we have eliminated 6 district-level administrative positions, including both assistant superintendent positions and 4 director positions. Reduced more than 30 certified and classified positions, primarily through attrition. We renegotiated longstanding contracts and changed service models. We reorganized staffing and operations, pursued grants, partnerships, and alternative revenue to offset local spending, and did all of that while lowering the school total tax rate by approximately 22.5% over 5 years, bringing it finally this last year below $2. Those were not paper reductions. They were real positions, real contracts, and real changes in how we operate. They are a major reason the replacement rate before voters is not higher. If this were simply a matter of finding efficiencies, we would solve it through efficiencies because we've made them. If it were a matter of unchecked administrative growth, the facts would show growth. Instead, we eliminated 6 central office administrative positions and no longer employ any assistant superintendents. We have already made significant and difficult reductions, and we will continue to manage every dollar responsibly. But an additional $4.5 million loss every year would be devastating and could not be absorbed without fundamentally changing the services and opportunities we provide to our students and families. The wording on a ballot can make this proposal sound as though an entirely new tax is being placed on top of what residents pay now. And that is not what is happening. The referendum approved in 2020 is currently in place. The proposed referendum replaces it. The old and new referenda will never be collected at the same time. The proposed maximum rate is 57 cents per $100 of assessed value. Current projections show that compared with the current operating referendum, a median homeowner's change is expected to range over time from approximately $1.25 more per month at the highest projected point to a monthly savings as assessed values change. Across the 8-year life of the proposal, the median homeowner is projected to pay about $42 less in total than under the current referendum trajectory. Now, it's important for you to understand every property is different, which is why we've created a calculator using the homeowner's own assessed value and deductions. I want residents to use their actual information to calculate the impact. Our Beech Grove City Schools website has a banner on the home page that will take you to a comprehensive page illustrating the facts of the referendum. Click, "How much would this cost me?" and you'll be able to get right to that calculator. The referendum funds are dedicated to these 4 operating areas and these areas only: safe and reliable student transportation, building maintenance, grounds, utilities, and repairs, custodial and operational services that keep every school clean and functional, and student safety, including our school resource officers. Again, no new building, no expansion, no hidden construction project, simply the recurring services that are in use today. So if voters do not approve the replacement, the current referendum expires, and beginning in 2029, the district will need to reduce approximately $4.5 million annually. I do not say that to frighten anyone. I say it because withholding the consequence would be less honest than stating it plainly. There is no $4.5 million reduction plan that leaves the daily experience of students and families unchanged. At that scale, every part of the organization would face pressure: transportation, staffing, safety and security, maintenance, custodial service, student supports, academics, and extracurricular opportunities. Quite frankly, we would not look like the Beech Grove City Schools that our community knows today. We've already reduced a significant number of positions and restructured our operations. $4.5 million in reductions would be visible service reductions felt by families and ultimately by the city. A reduction of that size would not stop at the schoolhouse door. When transportation is reduced, working families feel it. When buildings and grounds receive less care, neighborhoods feel it. When student supports and safety systems weaken, the broader community feels it. And when families lose confidence in their schools, enrollment, housing demand, workforce readiness, and community identity can all be affected. But conversely, every time the city and schools work together, Beech Grove becomes stronger. Our police officers know our students learn to serve their community, our families gather in our facilities, our graduates become the people who run local businesses, coach teams, care for neighbors, and raise the next generation here. This is not the school district asking the city to solve a school problem. It is one public institution asking its closest partner to understand a shared community concern. For more than a century, Beech Grove has chosen to operate its own schools and shape its own future. That local identity matters. Decisions about Beech Grove children should continue to be made by Beech Grove people who know and love this community. So all of a sudden I got old. I just completed my 30th year as an educator. I don't know how that happened. I have served in districts over those 30 years with far more resources than Beech Grove, and I can tell you with absolute certainty, children from wealthier communities are no smarter, no more talented, and no more deserving than the 2,700 children who walk through the doors of Beech Grove City Schools every day. Our students deserve safe buses, clean schools, well-maintained facilities, and adults who protect them. Our homeowners deserve a school district that uses resources carefully and helps preserve the strength of their investment. Our city deserves a school partner that brings families opportunity, pride, and energy into Beech Grove. The district has reduced costs. We have eliminated positions. We have restructured services. We have also lowered the school tax rate. And now we are asking voters, not the administration, not the school board, and we're not asking the council. We're asking voters to decide whether to replace the current referendum and continue the essential services that it supports. Mayor and council members, I just thank you so much for listening, for the partnership you provide our schools every day. I welcome any questions that you might have, including the difficult ones. I promise I'll answer them directly, honestly, and respectfully. Thank you very much for your time.
Doctor, could you go back over the unequal revenue capacity?
Yeah.
So our lower level, is that because of state funding?
It's a great question. So state funding actually supports what we call the education fund. And that's genuinely a check that we receive from the state every month electronically. And those resources are allowed to support everything inside a school building. This disparity is related to what we call our operations fund, which is the fund that you have to use for all of those essential services like transportation, custodial, maintenance, and then school resource officers. So the state essentially says, use this fund to pay for these things and use this fund to pay for these things. Right. So because the operations fund is funded by property taxes, when you get to a space where you might hit those caps, then those dollars are never realized. And that's exactly what happens in this slide. So a Beech Grove kid generates $320 per kid, compared with an IPS kid who generates $3,205 per kid. And so that's where the discrepancy lies, that operations fund.
So we're talking about a cap on the property taxes is
That's right.
where we're at.
That's exactly right.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So what would that 300 increase to?
So that actually stays the same, because what an operating referendum does is that it's a separate fund now. So you have an operations fund that's generating the 320. So effectively the balance of if you pulled up the Beech Grove City Schools 1782 notice, our budget order, it would show that Beech Grove should be receiving about $4.5 million in its operations fund. We receive little to no revenue in that fund. So the operating referendum is the catch-up of what should be in that operations fund. It's its own separate entity, paying for the things that are in the operations fund.
And so by 2029, we won't be able to survive it.
So 2029 it would be devastating to a school district this size to sustain $4.5 million of reduction.
Laura, is
Sir.
the people that are out of district,
Yes.
do we get the same dollar amount or is it more or?
Great question. So if a student is a transfer student, they don't live in Beech Grove, but they are attending Beech Grove City Schools. Those students are actually what we call a value add, because they are bringing education fund revenue with them. And so every student generates the same amount of funding in Beech Grove to fund that education fund. So even if you transfer in, you're getting that amount of revenue. What doesn't happen with a transfer student is that the operations local property tax that student might sort of earn, if we're talking let's use $320. A Beech Grove kid generates $320. If they are an IPS kid who's coming to Beech Grove, they do not bring this $3,205 with them. But how that works is that operations need to be in place no matter what. We have to heat all of our schools, have to cool them, have to have lights on. So what ends up happening is that they're a value add because they add to our ability to have teachers, paraprofessionals, support staff, curriculum, because it's that education side of the house from the state.
Okay. Have you guys done anything to lobby the legislature? Because that's the entire problem
Yes.
with schools, with the cities and municipalities,
Yes.
and they're not listening.
Councilman, I really appreciate this question. I think I'm probably best described at the State House as a gnat because I just don't go away and I keep staying in people's faces. I am so frustrated by the situation that Beech Grove City Schools finds itself because this is a structural system that has been designed and really, quite honestly, I believe quite unintentionally, we are the victims of an analysis of a system, a model that benefits some school districts, but then there are also losers. I've had really incredible conversations with state leadership who have said to me, Laura, this is not right. This is wrong. What Beech Grove experiences is not fair. And these are all words that have come leadership at the State House. And they have promised that they are working to solve this problem. I am so hopeful, and we continue to keep lobbying at the State House to ensure that equity is realized for Beech Grove taxpayers so that the burden doesn't necessarily need to be carried in the way that it currently is.
Thank you.
I think we should say thank you for the cost-saving measures that you've already taken and implemented. I think we should say thank you.
Kind of you.
For sure. Thank you.
It's a gift to serve as your superintendent. I can't tell you how much I love this community, this city, these people. It's just a very special place. Fourth day of school today. Students were fed. We didn't leave any kids on the bus. Like, it was good. Yeah, it's a win. Absolutely. So thank you all. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your time. And truly, if you have any questions as follow-up, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hammock, for that presentation. We appreciate it. Up next, Council, we have an RDC update. And the Civitas group will be here to discuss the comprehensive plan that was recently approved by the Council and the RDC and the implementation of that plan. So I'd like to call up RDC President Matthew up, and then we'll introduce Civitas.
Evening, Council. As I promised to Councilman Matkins, I will be short. RDC is working through implementing the plan. This month, we will be adopting new funding applications. With the help of Civitas, we are working at making multiple ones to fit city wants to have an ask as opposed to private businesses, as opposed to a bigger project, opposed to a community grant. So that is ongoing. We will have that final vote at our August meeting, and then shortly thereafter, we'll get that all up on the website. And Civitas will be working on a plan to let the folks know, such as the Chamber of Commerce, because we're really going to try and make something a little bit more usable for private business owners, those who want to either come and invest in the city or reinvest if they're already currently here, and seeing what we can do, again, under applicable law. But for the most part, I'm here to introduce our new consultants from Civitas, Jack Woods and Pete Olson. We signed the contract with our consultants a number of months ago. They jumped right into it. Have gotten the lay of the land and where we're at, and continue to gather that information. Me and the mayor have been meeting with these two gentlemen every 2 weeks to go through things, to plan for upcoming RDC meetings, and discuss approaches on how to redevelop certain areas of the city, for which I will not go into. You've heard me talk about them more than once. But without further ado, I will turn it over to Jack and to Pete to introduce themselves, talk about what they're doing, anything else they want to let you know. And then they will also mention that we are having a training in September for which the RDC and our consultants want to invite you all to attend, so we can all understand what powers we have as an RDC, what redevelopment tools we have according to law. As you are very much aware, we have a lot of new members on the RDC. We've had some turnover this year. And for those who have been on the RDC for a long time, me, it's always good to have a refresher because, again, I'm an election attorney. I don't do redevelopment work full time. And so even I need a refresher on what the law says I can and can't do on occasion. So Jack and Pete, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Matthew. Good evening, Council. My name is Jack Woods. I'm the Director of Economic Development for Civitas Strategies. I'm joined by my colleague Pete Olson. He's our Director of Community Development. Civitas is a division of the various groups, so if you see my quarter zip and it says Veritas, it's the same as Civitas. But essentially, we work with cities and towns across the state of Indiana, helping them implement plans such as the economic and redevelopment plan that the city of Beech Grove has recently passed. We're really excited about this opportunity and have enjoyed working with Matthew and the mayor over the last 2 months or so, and look forward to continuing in this role. As Matthew pointed out, our first focus has been helping to fine-tune the RDC funding application. As it exists today, we've wanted to introduce some additional flexibility or maybe structure, depending on how you look at it, but have multiple funding applications that address private businesses, the city, nonprofits, and so forth, and look forward to rolling that out here in the next month or so. So that's been a big priority for us. The other big piece of this is just looking at that economic development redevelopment plan and prioritizing projects with Matthew and Mayor Kaufman and understanding where we start. There's a pretty long list of opportunities that we're excited to work through, but obviously some of those are more impactful to the city than others. So we've been working on that and looking at things like the CSX property, the hospital, bigger, larger scale projects that'll have a big impact. That's where we want to start. One of the other things that I think we bring to the table that will be helpful in this effort as the redevelopment team for the city and the redevelopment commission is relationships with developers. We've already started having conversations with developers and just talking about some of the projects that are highlighted in the redevelopment plan, specifically some of the infill projects. I know there was a focus on some of the bigger ones that I mentioned earlier, but I do think there are some quick wins or low-hanging fruit that can be accomplished on some of those infill opportunities, such as townhomes or infill single-family opportunities. And there are a few developers who have already expressed interest and potentially talking with the RDC and Mayor Kaufman about those projects. So after we get through these funding applications, I think most of our focus will be on that more, traditional economic development lens of engaging developers and potential businesses that are interested in coming to Beech Grove and participating in redevelopment that aligns with the plan that was passed this year. I guess the one thing I'll mention, Pete, before I turn it over to you to talk a little bit more about what we've been working on. To Matthew's point, we do have an RDC training that will occur at the September meeting, which is currently planned for September 24th. Again, we think that'll be great to just go over best practices about what redevelopment commissions do. We do know there are a few new members who I think that'll be helpful for. And then Matthew also mentioned, I think, just a refresher for members that have been a part of the commission for a longer period of time. That refresher could still be helpful. So we would like to invite you to come and observe that meeting and be present for that as well on the 24th if you're able and would like to. Pete, you want to add a few words?
I think Matthew and Jack probably hit most of the high parts. Just kind of as a background, I spent better than 25 years in municipal management, most recently 20 up in Yorktown, helping with their RDC. So as we've been looking at this funding application, understanding how those long-term effects can help throughout the community. Obviously, the school makes a very good case of what is happening in your community and how that affects everything. I think one of the things that the superintendent mentioned that I think I firmly believe, that we firmly believe, both from a professional side, is that you can't have a strong community without strong schools. You can't have strong schools without a strong community. So we'll be looking at how we can further enhance those relationships, if there are funding applications for those kinds of organizations, or even in a deeper meaning, how additional students coming in through infill of housing or just additional opportunities of jobs. Obviously, as SEA 1 is starting to poke through in the next few years, funding is going to look a whole lot different, and that'll be something that we continue to talk about with the RDC members and make sure that we're giving the best benefit to the entire community when it's all said and done. Any questions for either Jack or I tonight?
Did he say what time the training was on the 24th?
Yeah, so our meetings start at 6. Probably we'll start closer to 6:15. We do have to do a very short meeting to approve our docket and the minutes, go through all the statutory stuff, making sure we're like paying their contract and approving minutes for the public record. That should take no more than 10 minutes, probably 5, but we'll say closer to 6:15 on the 24th of September.
We'll be there.
Thank you.
Pete, one question. Being up there in Yorktown, a little bit smaller, I think even than Beech Grove, things turn out pretty good. Some of the implementations that you've done there.
Yes, yeah. So we, I'll tell this history for you all. I was a client prior to being a consultant with Civitas and/or Veritas. We ended up doing some pretty significant downtown redevelopment. In fact, I think your police station looks an awful lot like our town hall because we had a number of police officers come and visit prior to construction and looking at it and everything else. That project continues to be ongoing. We continue to have an ongoing relationship with the town of Yorktown and helping them and doing some of the same things. These are things that both Jack and I love to do. We find communities finding innovative ways to make progress is a good opportunity, and so we look forward to doing that here in Beech Grove.
Wonderful, thank you.
The cost of you guys doing this, was this part of the initial, I think it was 85,000, or are you guys at an additional cost?
So we had budgeted $150,000 for this year in our funding plan as a professional services contract for the consultants. Because we entered the contract in the middle of the year and there is a desire to align that we renew our contracts every year because, again, all of us on the RDC are one-year terms. We do not know if we'll be reappointed until the end of the year. The mayor, as well as your appointees, you may want to change track. And so the contract is, I don't have it in front of me, and as you know, my joke is I'm a lawyer because I'm bad with numbers. I don't remember what the number is off the contract. It's definitely below 150,000. But we will be bringing up their contract. We're probably going to amend it to increase it for another year for the calendar year 2027. But that will be decided closer in the fall when we build our funding budget, and that'll be around October. But it's set at a maximum 150,000. It is way below that. What that number is, I do not remember, but I will email the council a copy of that contract again, just so you have it for your records, and so I can answer your question offline, sir.
I appreciate that.
Of course. And with that, I will just also say that we will have a new member of the school board, who is our non-voting advisor as provided by statute. For a long time, that was Rob Chalice, but Rob has since left the school board. Brian, I think have you been appointed? I don't know if the school board has appointed this. Usually it's Brian is swapped in, but once they figure that out, we look forward to having them because we on the RDC also look forward to helping the schools. I second everything that Dr. Hemick said in her presentation. And having grown up in Northwest Indiana, I know from up there that you have to have good schools to have a good town or a good city. But with that, if there's no other questions, I will let you get back to your evenings and your long agenda. Thank you, Council.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack. Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Up next, we're getting into budget time. So FOP 86 reached out to me to get a couple minutes of your time this evening. I'd like to call up Captain Frankel, say a couple things. Captain?
Yes, sir.
Evening, council.
Good
I think
evening.
most of you know me by now. We've negotiated a few times with the city and at budget time. We are at the end of our 3-year contract with the city, and we've met with the mayor multiple times this year on our contract for the future year or years. And like I said last year, with budget time and where we're at financially as a city, I want to be transparent, and I've promised you guys that we will be transparent through the entire process. Like I said, we've been negotiating with the mayor, and I want to give you my information to take your questions and concerns. I've wrote down my personal cell phone number for you guys to call me. I'll stay after the meeting tonight. Like I said, every year we've never asked for anything that we don't believe the city can afford. We obviously are proud to be Beech Grove police officers, and we love representing the city, especially through this year. I know it's been a lot this year, and you guys have shown your support to us. So like I said, I promised last year at budget time that I would be willing to take your questions and concerns as we negotiate with the city. So I just wanted to provide you with my information and let you know you can call me or email me anytime or talk to me before or after the meeting. But I think we should be wrapping up negotiations in the next month. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you, Captain Frankel. And I do have scheduled to meet with the 416 this week, so we'll start those negotiations and start that conversation. They're here as well if you want to talk to them after the meeting, and I'm sure their door is open as well. Up next, last special presentation is Regions Bank. Bill Harris is here to speak about cards for department heads. I don't know if the treasurer wants to start off or wants to introduce Bill, but we'll get that. Cool.
Yeah, so Bill
Yes, sir.
has been with the city for a while, worked with us as a relationship manager. And I know I mentioned a couple months ago about the need for getting each department head a card rather than us all sharing one card with my name on it. Just for a multitude of reasons. So Bill is just here to kind of like tell you what how that would look and answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman, for allowing me to come again. Bill Harris, Relationship Manager. Been fortunate to work with the city. Been with Regions for 11 years and have the fortune to really work with the city since that time. So met with James when he was the treasurer, and then obviously moving on to Samantha, kind of as she said. So one of the things that we've kind of been talking about for a while now is what we call kind of our commercial card, and being able to basically provide cards where the clerk treasurer would have the ability to assign cards to department heads, and then obviously if they wanted to use those cards to give out to their employees, they'd be able to do that. There's other functions that would be able to utilize as well. One of the things that is brand new is called like a mobile wallet. So one of the things you would be able to do is you could temporarily provide a card that the individual would be able to use on their cell phone or smartphone, excuse me, so that basically they could use that, and then once they were done using it, that would just go away. So it kind of helps from the standpoint of being able to really, as we have shared, more or less being able to really control the cards so that they're just not floating out there in the ether or basically getting lost by employees that are using them. So with so many people having smartphones, it's just real easy to push them out. Once they're done, and then basically they're removed. So there's a variety of different things that can be utilized. Also on the reporting side, so as the clerk treasurer mentioned, the nice thing is basically she would be able to go in and basically, what I like to say is as she assigns cards, she can set limits as to how much can be spent on the card. She can also set different codes to where the cards can be used. One of the things that I like to say is, for instance, if someone is using a card to get gas, they would only be pay at the pump. If they tried to go inside the station and use the card, it would come back declined. So again, you can set these controls on it so that basically they can only be used how you would like to use them. And then with those controls, they can be only used at entities that they would choose to be. So again, kind of the same thing. If you had a card that was really only to be used for fuel, if you tried to go to, Walmart or Lowe's or anywhere and try to use the card, it would come back declined because basically the MIC code that is assigned to that vendor would not match, and so it would come back declined. So there's a lot of safeties that are incorporated with that can be put in. And the other thing that we have shared is, obviously if you get to a certain spend limit, there's what we like to call in the banking industry a revenue share, but what most people look at it as a rebate. So you get a certain spend, and then basically once that's spent, and then basically you would get a rebate back on those funds that's normally paid annually. So, is there anything else that I'm missing, or what can I answer for anyone?
The other thing that's really, I don't know what the word is for me, enticing for me with the codes is
Yes.
it will save us a lot of time on the back end of
Yes.
getting receipts because do you guys have a way to do that mobily?
Yes. So again, we have a thing that's Spend Clarity, which is free, and basically that would allow folks that basically, once they purchase something, they take a picture of that receipt on their smartphone. It then uploads to the system, and then basically it can be assigned to the code that whatever that card may be assigned to. So it really helps from a reconciliation, and kind of as the clerk treasurer said, you're not chasing down individuals for receipts. So everyone more or less has a smartphone. They take a picture, they upload it, and then they're done.
You still want to keep the hard copy though, right?
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
We recommend that.
yeah,
But I mean, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
What's the cost of this service?
There's no cost. I mean, so Spend Clarity is free. Commercial card, there's no cost to that. So basically, once we get set up, the only cost that you would have, Councilman, is if you lost a card and you need it expedited. So again, there would be a fee for that expedited card. But if someone lost a card, it was stolen. If you went through the proper channels, there's no fee to that. Okay.
Any other questions for Bill? No? All right.
Great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. Up next, we have, that's the end of special presentations. We have committee reports. Financial report, Clerk Treasurer Stratton.
Alrighty, good evening. 2027 budget dates. As we approach budget season, please make sure to save the dates for the 2 budget meetings in October, which will be on October 5th and 19th at 7 p.m. The MVH additional appropriation. In July, my office prepared and published the required notice for an additional appropriation of $756,065.70 to the Motor Vehicle Highway Fund for the Hannah Arlington Roundabout projects. These funds were received specifically for this project, but were not included in the city's original 2026 budget, so council approval is required before they can be spent. This does not involve a new tax or the use of the city's general operating funds. The current bank balances are listed below as of August 3rd, 2026. These totals do not include all claims that were approved earlier this evening. Bank accounts, City Corporation, $8,260,927.34. Utilities, $1,752,819.61. Criminal Investigation Fund, $273,346.10. RDC General Fund Bank Account, $2,728,362.09. And then fund accounts, the general fund is at $1,748,347.64. Sewage Utility Fund, $514,822.42, and the Stormwater Utility Fund is at $920,115.89. Respectfully submitted, Samantha Stratton, Clerk Treasurer.
Thank you, Clerk Treasurer. Any questions or comments for the Clerk Treasurer?
So the general ordinance number 4 that we're going to hear later on, the funds are already.
Yeah, so essentially they changed the process this year on how they fund projects like that. I think it's from the MPO, but essentially, typically we send them invoices and they pay it. They gave us the money and we pay the invoices, but without that being budgeted, I can't use that money.
Okay.
So we already got the money. I just have to allocate it so I can spend it.
Okay, so that doesn't increase our overall budget
No.
for the year.
It does.
No,
Okay.
it's just basically we got a check and we have to have
It allows
a
us
way
to
to spend it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a project awarded by the Indianapolis Metropolitan Planning Organization. Prior years, before 2026, as the Clerk Treasurer stated, they paid the 80%. And those funds never were received by the city of Beech Grove, or the municipality that was awarded them. So, but they changed it to this year. So we actually received the funds, and then we have to budget accordingly to spend it. So, they changed that last year. And that's why you see that tonight. But that project is nearing completion, though. I was told today that the deadline for it to be completed is, I think, August 14th or something. So if you haven't been out there, it's taking shape and it's getting very close. So weather dependent, we'll hopefully be ready soon.
I do have one question. Hate to ask, but with all this rain, how are we looking on the sewer and so on?
So far, so good. I don't like that we got 2.5 inches of rain in one day.
Yeah.
But I don't know that bill yet. So we'll see. But we're doing okay. Our new bill that we just got today for not last month, the month before is 148,000. So that's pretty standard.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you.
We got 5 inches in my yard.
I was going to say, yeah, we had about 4.5
Yeah.
other Saturday. So
That was a lot of water.
it's a lot of water.
Okay. Up next is reading of minutes. You have the council meeting minutes dated July 6, 2026, up for approval this evening. Any questions or comments?
I have a comment. I'm
Yes,
sorry,
ma'am.
counselors. The minutes section of the approval of minutes from last time, I did not put the counselor's name as in. So I believe it was Duffer and Matkins. So you'll see I have a placeholder there, but I will fix that after
Okay.
approval.
I would like to make an amendment to the minutes.
Sir.
Page 2, under public comment, there's 2 paragraphs that have to do with Manny Singh and Donnie Morehouse. The second paragraph, the last 2 sentences where it starts, no binding action was taken. Council members individually expressed varying levels of support for continued city cooperation, subject to legal environment, financial, and public impact review. I would like to strike all of that and replace it with, Councilor Duffer made a motion for a non-binding resolution to state how each of the councilors felt about supporting Mr. Singh and his project and the city working with them to obtain the proper paperwork. The city attorney and the clerk treasurer were against this non-binding resolution and stated that each councilor could take a poll on how they feel about the subject. The poll was taken, and Councilor Duffer stated he was in favor of helping Mr. Singh. Mr. McMillan was in favor. Councilor Lampine had concerns about the paperwork and wanting to make sure that the proper legal authorities had addressed the situation before she voted yes or no. Councilor Matkins abstained, secondary to not enough information. Councilors Himmelgarn, Frierson, and Ernest were in favor. The final vote total was 5 in favor, 1 abstention, and 1 needed more information.
You will have to email that to me.
Pardon me?
You will have to email that to me if you don't mind.
Yeah, get
That-
this.
Yeah, or I can take it. Either one.
I'll
Yeah,
give it to you.
okay, perfect.
Any other questions? If not, entertain a motion to approve the common council meeting minutes dated July 6th as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Up next, public comment. Craig?
Yes, Robin Stewart.
Thanks.
Okay. Gary, I can't read your last name, but is it Gary?
Klingsman?
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Gary, come on up.
I'm just up here because I heard about they're wanting to raise the taxes on automobiles.
Real quick before you start,
Yes.
can you just state your name and your address?
My name is Gary E. Klingan Smith.
And then you have 3 minutes.
Pardon me?
You have 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Well, I'm just kind of curious why they want to raise it on us. A bunch of us down here are just retired, senior citizens, and I feel like that we're already being badgered with our taxes and everything else, and I'm kind of upset about wanting to raise our $25 for automobiles for roads, and those roads all look pretty nice around here. I mean, I don't know what to say. Pretty much.
I know we're going to go over that more in a minute.
Okay, and maybe this conversation, but now, anyways, I was just signing that thing, and you brought my name up. So,
Gotcha.
All right. Appreciate it. Yeah, like she said, we will be going over that here
Okay.
shortly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pam Stellard.
Pam Stallard, 711 Churchman Avenue, Beech Grove. I know you, pardon me, already voted twice on the wheel tax, and tonight you're supposed to vote a third time on the wheel tax. I would urge you to table this until we get a better understanding of what the Indianapolis City Council is going to be doing. There's a lot of confusion out there. I've talked to a lot of citizens, and nobody is coming up with the same response about what this is all about, whether we're going to be double charged once by the county and once by Beech Grove, so we have a combined fee, or if it's going to be separate, or if it's only going to be the 25 from Beech Grove. So there's an awful lot of confusion still out there, and I think the meeting for the Indianapolis City Council is tonight, and they'll come up with a final decision, hopefully. So perhaps if we can table this for tonight and bring it back up again at next meeting, we might be better off. Thank you.
Mayor, didn't you say that the wheel tax assessments would not stack?
That is correct, yes. I think that was mentioned in the last 2 months that will not stack. So if we do not implement our own wheel tax, then we will defer to whatever rate Indianapolis chooses to implement. But if we do pass our own, it will not stack. And that's the same with the other cities across the state and their specific counties. Before this year, they were stacked, but this year they were not. I got an email from that was passed on to me from actually Greenwood, and they received an email from Cindy Carrasco, and it says, any new municipal wheel taxes that go into effect after 12/31/26 will not be stacked with any county taxes. This means that any residents of the municipality with a new wheel tax that goes into effect 1/1/27 and after would only pay the new municipal wheel tax. Municipalities that are unstacked from the county will not receive any distributions from the county wheel tax. First, for example, if XYZ County had a county wheel tax and ABC municipality adopted an ordinance today for it to be in effect on 1/1/27, the municipal wheel tax would be unstacked from the county wheel tax, and the taxpayer would only pay the municipal wheel tax, and that's it. So, but we can get into that again a little bit later.
Okay.
Anybody else sign up, Craig?
Nope, that's it.
Oh, we're getting into it now. Anybody else like to speak this evening? Okay. That is all the public comments. On to unfinished business. Third reading is General Ordinance Number 3, 2026, which is a wheel tax. It has been read into the record, so I'd entertain a motion to read it by title only this evening.
I'll make a
Go ahead, Chris.
I'll make a motion to read it by title only.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Clerk Treasurer?
General Ordinance Number 3, 2026 is an ordinance that amends Chapter 39 of the City of Beech Grove's Code of Ordinances, establishing a municipal wheel tax and motor vehicle license excise tax, and creating the city's wheel tax fund and the motor vehicle license excise surtax fund.
Thank you. General Ordinance Number 3, 2026, wheel tax is on third and final reading this evening. I'd like to have discussion or answer any questions that you all might have. I know that one of the biggest questions we received was, would it stack? And that has been confirmed that it will not stack. So what the state legislator did in the last legislative session was they decided that with community crossing grants. So each year the City of Beech Grove has applied for community crossing grants awards, and we've done that. I know I handed out this documentation from Director Cochran last time. We received about $2.7 million in community crossing grant awards since 2019. That has basically, in effect, doubled our paving projects in the city each and every year. And we're very thankful for that from the state. And those are the taxes that you all pay each and every day when you fill up your tanks. So what the legislature did, they said, okay, we're going to continue to have community crossing grants, but in order to be eligible, each municipality will have to enact their own wheel tax, and that is to start out at a minimum of $25 per passenger and $40 for commercial. So that is why that's being presented tonight. And in order to be eligible for community crossing grants, it has to be done by September 1st of this year in order to take effect in January of 2027. So this is being presented at the minimum. I know there's other municipalities who are going higher. We thought, again, it is tough to implement any tax, but basically this will mean the money will stay here in the city of Beech Grove and not go to the county and then disperse from there. So it'll stay in Beech Grove. It'll go to improve the infrastructure here in the city of Beech Grove for the people that live here.
And if we do not do it, then we have to go with Indianapolis, right?
Correct. So if we do not implement our own wheel tax, we will default to whatever Indianapolis decides their rate will be for Marion County. And then also we will lose any eligibility to apply for a community crossing grant funds because we do not have our own wheel tax. So if whatever Indianapolis does or doesn't do, if we do not, we will lose that funding source. So as mentioned earlier, we just did a big paving project in the city of Beech Grove. The most substantial part was Alton. And that was from 13th to Emerson Avenue, 4th Avenue, Albany to Bethel, 6th Avenue, Albany to Bethel, and Detroit Street. About 1.48 miles of road, and we received $487,000 from the Community Crossing Grant Fund. So without that, half of those roads would not have been done this year because we just simply don't have the revenues to do that.
And if we don't implement this by what, 1st of September?
September 1st. So at the 1st of September. So I know there are discussions about the next meeting. The next meeting, the first Monday of September falls on a holiday. So it'll take place on Tuesday, September 8th, 2026. So that'll be after the deadline. We have to get it to the DMV to implement any changes. And that's why they set that September 1st date.
Gotcha. And with Indianapolis and them right now, the mayor vetoing their $100 one. I understand if they get the votes this evening to override the veto, it will be at the $100, which if we turn ours down and vote ours down, then we would all be at the $100.
Correct.
Even if they don't do the $100, they can resubmit it for a different price. It could be 75, it could be 50, it could be whatever, still more than what we are.
Correct.
And Indianapolis, with their multi-million-dollar budget for roads, $1 million match is not a big thing for them. Our city, it's a huge thing. It will double everything that we can do here. Mr. Klingsman, I have to respectfully disagree with the roads. The roads are not in great shape. I do want to, however, say that Emerson is not our road to take care of. That is an Indianapolis road. We have a couple here that is Indianapolis. They're in terrible shape, just like most of the roads in Indianapolis. Every road you try to go down, there's road construction. So hopefully a lot of these are getting taken care of. However, $1 million just doesn't go very far, especially when you're looking at projects for asphalt and road repair. To not have the option of getting matched through the grant, that would really hurt us, I believe.
Mayor, can I make a recommendation?
Yes.
It seems like it would be the most friendliest to the taxpayer to pass the minimum tonight. So if this council passes the minimum at $25, and Indianapolis passes is at 50, there's no stacking, right?
Correct.
So it's going to be $25. If we do nothing and Indianapolis passes 50 or 100, then our taxpayers get hit with 50 or 100.
They will, correct. And we will no longer qualify for the community crossing grant money. We'd be bringing a lot more revenue because you'd be basically quadrupling the revenues that are coming in now. But we don't want to do that. And that's why we're presenting it at the minimum, just to still qualify for that community crossing grant money, because you can do a lot of paving for $800,000 or $900,000. You can't do much paving for half of that, and that's what our fear is, that if we aren't eligible for that additional funding, someone else will get it. We're still going to pay that. We're still going to fill up at the tank. We're still going to pay those taxes. We just won't be eligible to receive that, which is kind of crazy to say, but because we all pay them. But that's what the state legislature decided to do, and that's what they implemented for the cities and towns across the state to implement.
And nobody wants to raise taxes, but I think the superintendent stated her case, did an excellent job. We're getting hit on the city side as well. We have to take these types of measures.
So Indianapolis is meeting tonight, and one of the other counselors had told me that they talked to one of the city county counselors and that they were going to try to lower the amount from 100 to 50 and maybe get that passed. So if we do not pass ours for 25, then, and they do pass theirs for 50, then we would be assessed $50 instead of 25.
Correct.
So I also asked our city attorney, and I said, what will happen if we do not pass our wheel tax and Marion County does not pass theirs either? And his answer was the city will be ineligible still for the CCMG matching road grants or road matching funds moving forward, and until the city enacts a wheel tax. Note that the CCMG funds have accounted for half of all road paving projects since the program was implemented. In sum, the city's projects would likely be cut in half each year without CCMG funding. So I guess we've got two choices. I think we talked about tabling it. Pam asked us to table it. That would require us to meet another meeting yet this month, and for it to be advertised and that type of thing. And then we have the suggestion from our city attorney to go ahead and pass it on third reading tonight. And then if Marion County doesn't do anything and we wind up not being in favor of it, we can repeal it.
Chris, the AD vote's not till Monday.
Yeah, it's the 10th.
It's the 10th, yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
next Monday.
Oh, I thought they was meeting tonight. Okay.
They're,
There's switches around.
they're having a meeting amongst that.
A meeting for the
particular-
meeting, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know whether the other counselors would want to wait and see what Indianapolis does, or whether they want to pass an increase on third reading and then get the matching CCMG funds and go from there.
I'm not much of a gambler.
And just for the record, so I know we said 2025, 2024, we received about 353,000. 2023 was a big year. We did a lot of paving that year. Mayor Buckley did, and that city council, they did 647,000 in funds from Community Crossing Grant, which is the largest we've ever applied for, the biggest paving project that we've ever done. And then about 351, 162, 350, and 333. So it kind of doubles that, right around that $700,000 to $800,000 range of paving each year. So that's what we're looking just to continue that progress forward and continue to chip away at our roads, because they are deteriorating. Had some hard winters, and you see those potholes and stuff. Our DPW does a great job filling those and keeping up ahead of those, but it's difficult without that paving budget.
What other funding mechanisms are out there?
Outside of that, I guess none that I know of for paving specifically. You can do intersections improvements. The safe routes for all that we applied for Emerson Avenue, that's going to basically repave and reconstruct that entire thoroughfare. But outside of that, I'm not aware of anything that we could apply for just standard paving project and updates. I know that you can apply for safety, and that's why Emerson Avenue was awarded for the intersections like the roundabout at Hand on Arlington. It's one of the most dangerous intersections in the county, and that is why we received funding for that. So we try and stretch those out as much as possible, but that intersection can only qualify for so big. So I don't know of anything else, sir.
On the routes or streets, whatever you want to call it, is done by Indianapolis. None of this community crossing grants will be used for them roads, like Sherman Drive, Emerson.
Yeah, I mean, I would not anticipate the city would be funding those rehab and those paving projects. No.
Well, we've done it on roundabouts that are not in Beach.
We have, but that was with the 80% match from the MPO and NDOT. So,
but I mean, I think that needs to be put into the minutes or the ordinance.
Yeah. So we do a pavement asset plan, okay? And that pavement asset plan grades every road in the city of Beech Grove, correct, Tim? Does that include the city roads of Indianapolis?
Yes.
They're graded in that as well? Okay. But in the plan, it kind of goes forward about 5 or 6 years for the next 5 paving seasons, and we do not include the roads from Indianapolis. We just try and keep up on the mayor and the city county council to incorporate those. They've done a few of them in the past, and we're very thankful for that. There's a few roads that are pretty rough right now, but we're still in communication with them and hoping to see some work on those in the coming years. Any other questions or comments? If not, I entertain a motion to approve General Ordinance number 3, 2026, wheel tax on third and final reading.
I'll make said motion to approve General Ordinance number 3 on third and final reading.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
That is 4-1. All right, General Ordinance number 3, 2026 passes on third reading only. Thank you. Thank you. All right, up next we have new business. I'd like to open up a public hearing for General Ordinance number 4, 2026, which is the NVH additional appropriation on first reading only.
All right, additional.
You want me to read it while are you doing that? Or are you okay?
I can do
Okay.
that. Additional appropriation ordinance number 4, 2026. Whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to appropriate money in excess of the annual budget, and whereas the city of Beech Grove, Indiana is a duly formed municipal corporation within the state of Indiana governed by its duly elected mayor and council, and whereas the council has the duty and authority to maintain and allocate funds as necessary to maintain the fiscal integrity of the city and maximize efficiency, and now therefore be it affirmed that the Beech Grove Common Council desires to appropriate the funds listed below based on the recommendation of the clerk treasurer. Now therefore it be ordained by the city of Beech Grove Common Council of Marion County that the expenses of the taxing unit in the following sum of money are hereby authorized to be appropriated out of the fund named and for the purpose specified, subject to the laws governing the same, and appropriated in the fund listed itself. So requesting into the Motor Vehicle Highway Fund $756,065.70. Now it be affirmed that the Common Council approves the appropriation requested above. Now be it further affirmed that this ordinance only applies to the fund listed above and no other budget matter. Now be it further affirmed that this ordinance shall go into effect immediately upon passage by the Common Council, attested by the clerk treasurer, and signed by the mayor.
All right, go ahead and close this public meeting. Up for discussion. Any comments or questions?
When we received these funds in originally, did they go into their own fund?
No, they got receipted right now into the general miscellaneous revenue.
Okay.
So that'll just get appropriated from that general miscellaneous into NVH.
So that's why this doesn't show what fund it's coming out
Yeah.
of and going into.
That's probably my fault. It should say the general fund.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a miscellaneous revenue.
So this is on first reading this evening. We'll do second and third reading come September 8th. Any other questions or comments? Yes. Any other questions or comments? Entertain a motion to approve General Ordinance number 4, 2026, the additional appropriation for NVH in the roundabout at Hannah and Arlington.
I make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Up next, we have General Ordinance number 5, 2026, which is for a new fund, number 2260 on first reading only. And this was another new law that was passed by the legislator this year for municipalities to implement. So I'll let the clerk treasurer read that into the record, but basically any funds that are received from permit fees in the city of Beech Grove have to go in its own fund, separate from the general fund, and then to be expensed out for specific duties and responsibilities for that, for the permit process. So, clerk treasurer.
Okay. General Ordinance number 5, 2026 is an ordinance that establishes Fund 2260, the Building and Construction Related Fees Fund, to receive and account for fees subject to Indiana Code 36-7-2.3. Whereas House Enrolled Act 1001, enacted as Public Law 7326, added Indiana Code 36-7-2.3, entitles Limits on Building and Construction Related Fees, whereas Indiana Code 3672.3 applies to fees imposed by a city for approval of applications related to construction or reconstruction of buildings or building appurtenances, and to zoning, development, subdivision, classification, or reclassification of land, including permit, application, inspection, and processing fees, regardless of the name given to the fee, whereas Whereas Indiana Code 3672.3-3 requires fees assessed and collected after December 31st, 2026 to be maintained in a special fund dedicated solely to reimbursing the cost actually incurred by the city relating to the imposition and amount of the fees, and prohibits the money from reverting to the general fund or any other fund of the city. Whereas State Examiner Directive 2026-1 directs cities and towns to deposit and account for all fees subject to Indiana Code 3672.3 in Fund 2260, the Building and Construction Related Fees Fund. Now therefore it be affirmed that the Beech Grove Common Council desires to establish Fund 2260, the Building and Construction Related Fees Fund, as a special non-reverting fund of the City of Beech Grove. Now therefore it be it further affirmed that the Common Council instructs the Clerk Treasurer to establish Fund 2260 and to deposit and account for all fees subject to Indiana Code 3672.3 in that fund beginning January 1st, 2027. Now therefore be it further affirmed that money in Fund 2260 shall be used solely to reimburse costs actually incurred by the city relating to the imposition and amount of fees deposited into the fund, and shall not revert or be transferred to the general fund or any other fund of the city. Now therefore be it further affirmed that receipts and expenditures shall be separately accounted for by each type of fee, and the Clerk Treasurer shall maintain a subsidiary ledger detailing all revenue received by individual fee source and disbursements from each specific fee source. The subsidiary ledger shall be reconciled to Fund 2260 monthly and made available for review by the Indiana State Board of Accounts. Now therefore be it affirmed that this ordinance applies only to the establishment and administration of Fund 2260 and does not itself establish, impose, or change the amount of any fee. Now therefore be it further affirmed that this ordinance shall go into effect upon passage by the Common Council, attested by the Clerk Treasurer, and signed by the Mayor, with applicable fees assessed or collected after December 31st, 2026 to be deposited and accounted for in Fund 2260.
All right, any questions or comments?
Does this just apply to permit fees or like shelter rentals? Do they have to go into
Shelter
that?
rentals are still under the parks. So this is just like, we have all our sewer tap, electrical commissioner, the other commissioner I can't think of right now.
Building commissioner.
Building commissioner, yeah. So anything that's related to any construction or sewer permits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, this is on first reading tonight. We'll hear second and third reading on September 8th. Any other questions or comments? If not, a motion to approve General Ordinance number 5, 2026 for establishing the new Fund 2260 on first reading this evening.
I'll make a motion to approve General Ordinance number 5, 2026.
Second emotion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. That's all we have this evening tonight, councilors. Council comments. Council Ernest.
Yep. Nope. Just thanks to everybody that came out tonight and for everybody that spoke. Thanks for department heads, school board for being here. Dr. Hammock did a really good job, and all the presenters. We appreciate you. And just speaking for District 5 and my constituents alone, not speaking for other councilors, the reason I voted for the wheel tax increase with the city level is it's better than the Indianapolis level, like we talked about, and it's non-stacking. So everybody that I talked to in District 5, it was a no-brainer for them. So it was a no-brainer for me as well. There's going to be those out there that say, you know, we voted for the raise taxes again, and people are going to say this, but can you imagine how they would have gone after our heads if we went with the Indianapolis rate? So again, nobody wants to do this, but this was the lesser of two evils, and that's it. Thanks for everybody coming out.
Just send much prayer for the apartment situation, and just if there's anything we can do, let us know.
And both of you took everything that I was going to say.
I mean, you should
Prayers
sit here.
for
You should sit
everybody.
I'll start with you next month.
Yeah.
Councilor Mackins, I start with you, sir.
Prayers for everybody that has been displaced from the fires. Also, please watch over our EMS, our Beech Grove Fire Department, well, our IFD, sorry, and our BGPD. Every day is getting a little crazier out there, and they need all the help that they can get from above. That's all I have for this evening.
All I'd like to say is on the wheel tax, it sounds like a no-brainer. I agree with that 100%. The problem is they give you a cut somewhere and put it in this hand, that cut, and they put it over here and take it. If people are tired of being taxed to death.
I agree with you, Councilor.
That's what's going on.
I'm
That's the
there as
reason
well.
why I voted against it. And You know, I just don't like any new taxes that they're putting in and tell us they're giving us something else over here. Go ahead, Chris.
I agree with what's been said by pretty much everyone. Counselor Ernest did take most of what I was going to say. I don't like raising taxes either. I'm retired, I live on a budget, and so it's not something we want to do, but you sit up here and you study this stuff all week or all month long, and you learn which is the lesser of two evils and which is going to be the best thing for the citizens of Beech Grove. And sometimes it's not always evident to the citizens, but I do try to have your best interests at heart, and that was the reason for my yes vote.
Very good.
For sure.
Thank you, counselors. A couple announcements. Tomorrow is National Night Out with our Beech Grove Police Department. New location will be at Sarah T. Bolton Park this year. That is tomorrow, August 4th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at Sarah T. Bolton Park. So be sure to come out and show your support to our men and women that serve and protect us each and every day. Council workshop. So that'll be September 8th. We will have a council meeting, and then we'll kind of maneuver into a budget workshop. And then as the clerk treasurer stated, we're going to the budget on first reading on October 5th, second reading and adoption on October 19th. That is all we have this evening. Next
Workshops
council.
here?
I'm
Okay.
sorry. Yes.
Workshops in here? Okay.
Yes, sir. All take place here at the council chambers.
Thank you.
The next city council meeting again is scheduled for Tuesday, September 8, 2026 at 7 p.m. here at City Hall. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make said motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is opposed at 8:21. Thank you.
Meeting is opposed.
Is opposed.
You said meeting is opposed.
Closed.
I'll email that.
Yeah,
to
if you want to do that, yeah, that way. it's easier, yeah.